My papi died 3 days after his 80th birthday. He fell, trying to get out of bed, confused and blinded by years of Alzheimer's, and suffered a heart attack. I recall telling my 10-year-old self to be sad at the funeral, but I couldn't pinpoint why. I never knew my grandfather well. By the time I was old enough to know my grandfather, he had succumbed to being a child, a shell of the incredible man he was. Slowly, his mind was overcome by plaque and tangles, slipping away from him neuron by neuron and memory by memory. But my grandfather died at a beautiful moment. We were throwing him a small birthday party in his assisted living home specifically designed for dementia patients. We invited the band he played with for decades, our family and friends, and all of the residents. Among them, a delirious woman who was insistent my father was her long-lost lover returned for her at last. As the party was wrapping up and people began to leave, the drummer stood up. Surrounded by family and friends, the taste of chalky icing in my mouth, my grandfather, who has been a percussionist for his entire life, sat down. The rest of the band continued to play, and my grandfather picked up the song and played along, his ease paralleling Buddy Rich or Ringo Starr. He played perfectly and effortlessly for a few songs, hitting all of the beats as if he had been practicing for months. In that instant, my grandfather was drawn out of his dark and lonely cave of Alzheimer's to emerge into the light of something he loved, performing music. The passion he sustained his entire life overcame the long-term damage and impotence of his mind. In that moment, it brought him back to life. My mother and grandmother, along with some of the nurses, were reduced to tears, overcome by the captivating performance. That was the last time I ever saw my grandfather. To me, this experience proves that some emotions and experiences are so searingly pressed into our beings that even if, God forbid, we lose our minds, we don't lose them. Who you are is made up of what you do and what you dedicate your life to doing. As my grandfather's memory slowly fell away from him, like a cupped hand, desperately trying to hold water, what was only left were his empty hands, or the foundation of who he was. This is what I believe. Spend your days making your life rich and meaningful, and in the end, that is what you will remember and what you will be remembered for. Do what you love, and that can never be forgotten. And I know, at the time of the party, there was no chance of my grandfather remembering his performance or recognizing its powerful message. But I am certain it is something my family, our friends, and I will never forget.